Hello there. This is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. That is the card that we'll be making. I have no sample because I totally flew by the seat of my pants, and I have a ton of pictures for you. So I pulled in Monster Bash, and the other stamp set was Wonderfully Wicked along with the Monster Bash DSP and some watercolor pencils. So here we go, and those are the stamp sets that you see there. I'm going to apologize right off the bat. Monster Bash is because, the allergies, the one to open the fan going, etc. But Spectacular Bash, that goes to the Monster Bash suite along with a Wonderfully Wicked stamp set. And then for our colored pencils, because we are going to be doing some coloring today, we have Pumpkin Pie, Granny Apple Green, Early Espresso, Crushed Curry, and Basic Gray. I have the linen thread there, a piece of soft suede cardstock for the base, and we're bringing in other die cuts of the stitched. I won't even go to that story there. But so I've already put in a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to ink that up with Memento Tuxedo Black in the middle of my scrap there. I'm using thick because we're doing colored pencils and applying some chemicals, and I don't want my cardstock to pill up. So what I'm doing is I need to heat set that ink because it will smear. So on setting one, I turn it on, let it heat up, and dread it real quick, and I don't get any warping. So I'm pulling in the Crushed Curry watercolor pencil right now, and I'm going around the lines of the image jars with a very light hand and just putting some color down there. With the middle one, I wanted to do the accent color a little bit differently, and I forgot about it, so I pulled in some Early Espresso and did that. That is Basic Gray, where I just put a little bit of color in the center of the web and on the bones, because bones are a cream color and the gray helps. That is Pumpkin Pie on the spider, and I'm putting just a little bit of Granny Apple Green on the frog there on the left, but there's no Granny Apple Green anywhere else in the card. But combining it with Crushed Curry, it worked out. So now I'm pulling the color out with a blender pen, and again I'm doing that very light because I don't want a ton of color there. I want enough to draw your eye in, make it look like the image has something going on. And I start with the lighter colors. In this instance, blending out was Crushed Curry. So you saw me pull in a piece of grid paper that I have that I did not put on the supply list and colored the Crushed Curry out and twisting the blender pen. And now I've done Granny Apple Green. You saw what I did with the Pumpkin Pie ombre, and now I'm just adding in the ink colors to, or blending out the Basic Gray. I left the image in the Stamparatus so I can ink it up again after I colored and then put it down, just in case I went over the lines, because you know how I am with my crisp lines. So did that, and now I'm going to work on part of the sentiment panel that is 1/2 inch thick. I marked it at halfway through a 1/4 inch so I would know where to put that banner punch die into. And I'm going to line that up on my Stamparatus right now and put down one of the sentiment stamps from Wonderfully Wicked. and I'm positioning it with that tool that I have on the supply list I never use because I use the pokey tool. So that one, I pulled the door off to make sure it was straight and inking it up with black ink, and I'm going to lay it down again. And you'll see in the video a little bit later where I kind of struggle with my game plan in my head went off. So now I have stitch shapes, and I'm taking the oval one and I want to center that up from top to bottom, left to right, and run it through the Big Shot with the magnetic die. Pop that out, and I'm going to put the precision base plate on top to die cut out that ornate frame in basic black. And I put the precision base on top so it just cuts through nicer and I can see those intricate die details. So I'm going to punch that out and pull in an old style brush to get the little intricate pieces out of the holes a little bit. Do they all come out? No. Am I good with it? Yes, because I needed a good base behind my oval to make it work. And again, you're seeing something that I did not plan out before I did the video with. So I'm putting snail adhesive on the back of the ornate frames die cut, and I'm going to put down the image panel that we stamped out, and that just gives it a nice base and a nice back to frame up that oval. And I looked at it and was like, oh, I have way too much white space. So I decided to grab in the basic gray and ground the images by, well, scribbling in that line and then blending it out. And I forgot to add some distress to the sides because it's still a very white panel. My DSP is distressed and it's busy, so I had to go along with that. And now I'm taking some of our new black Stampin' Dimensionals, pressing my thumbnail into it because that makes the backings come off easier. So with this card, you saw my score line. You want to fold it back on itself and you get a nice crisp crease that way. And I already put dimensionals on the back of the DSP, and I'm not going to distress that because it's distressed enough and it's busy. I also love you know that kind of print. You know how I am with that. And peeling everything off. This panel is cut pretty tight to by 1/8 of an inch, just to give it that nice soft suede background. And there we go. So I cut a piece of more Monster Bash, and I'm trying to line everything up now. Now the plan in mind was part of a sentiment on the left, and then the good time on the right, but with like creepy above that. And now I'm, processing, thinking, looking, and you're seeing it here because I'm not moving my hands. And I thought, okay, I'm not starting this over. I gotta pull it up. So I decided to make the print in the designer series paper go with my sentiment. So it's going to be the grand gathering good time. That may sound cheesy, but it's going to work in my head. And I wanted to originally tie our linen thread around the crushed curry banner panel there that I have with the sentiment, but it did not work. So I had to wrap it around the DSP. If I would have known that, I would have backed up with some basic black just to make it easier on me, but it worked out in the long run. And so I'm just fudging with it now, and I'm going to lay that out on top of the card front. You know how you put things together and wing it. So I'm going to get the crushed coating on there, and I want it at that angle. That helps my design a lot. To me, it kind of makes it because you're not expecting that. So I'm laying down some snail just to keep my positioning right, and it will stay. One thing I did do towards the end that's not on video is I put 2 extra dimensionals above the image panel and below it once I put it down, like where you see that white space there, because I was getting some sagging. And if you're my age, yeah, we know all about that, right? So I am cutting some linen thread, double it up, I'm tying a bow. I'm going to sneak in a glue dot under there to the left of the card, and then just put that down, and that is all I need. My DSP did the work for me. I did some simple stamping with just a little bit of colored pencils and blending it out, and it worked. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed today's project, and hit like and subscribe. Be sure to visit me at cindybdesigns.com, and I will see you next week on Saturday for another video. But that is our end project, or I'm sorry, our end project and card. And this monster bash, it is so much fun. I'm going to be playing with the coffins a little bit next week, and hope that you join me for that as well. And again, I thank you for your support and watching today. God bless. Have a fantastic weekend.